Hi. Most people think if they do vocational studies, they'll get locked into a trade. That's not true. In fact, it can lead in to uni studies or a career in the business sector, like the water sustainability industry. Is that right? This DVD is about people who have done exactly that.
My name is Cindy. I'm an electrician and I work for United Water. I do all the preventative maintenance and any fault finding and breakdowns at the plant, and we look after all our pumps and valves, control gear, switchboards, any general lighting and power to keep the plant running. Most challenges are probably when we do fault finding. You have to think very quickly, understand your drawings and the job that you're doing. It's great, mind-challenging work, and you get really good job satisfaction at the end of it. When I was young, I grew up on a hobby farm, always doing things with my hands. I did electronics at school and I really enjoyed it, and I thought, yeah, I think this is right up my alley. Did work experience as an electrician and just loved it and went from there. My advice to school leavers is if you're not sure what career path you'd like to go down, is to definitely go out and get yourself a trade. It's really good for your future career, because if you find that you'd like to do something else, you've always got it to fall back onto. From a female side, I don't feel treated any different to any of the guys. We're all treated on an equal level, and it's really good to feel part of the team. I'm actually in the Air Force Reserves as an electrician. I also play and teach classical piano and classical guitar. I have furthered my career studies in PLCs, which is programmable logic controllers. So I get to work on computers, programming big pumps and equipment to turn on and off or to run up a certain process. That's been really interesting to work on. Oh, my job is very important, especially to this company, because we need the water that comes out of your taps. It's very important that you guys have that water, so I have to keep the plant up and running and make sure I get onto the equipment that's faulty so that we can still produce the water that you guys need. My future career goals, I'd like to already be my dual trade, maybe possibly finish my diploma in engineering. It will open many doors, so I'm not quite sure where I'll be, what track I'll go down then. Our standards in Australia are quite high, and it's very easy to take these skills overseas. The opportunities for females to progress in this career is exactly the same as the males. It's on a very equal playing field these days, and so if you're willing to climb the ladder quite fast, every door and opportunity is there for you to achieve it.
My name's Brad Hargraves. I am an apprentice, third-year apprentice power line worker. Interesting things are you work in a different environment every day. You're outdoors. You get to work at heights, which not a lot of people get to do. You know, trained on chainsaws and gas blowtorches and rattle guns and all that type of stuff. So you know, a lot of drill presses and big cranes and stuff like that, so you get a pretty wide variety of experience with a few different tools and whatnot. Before I started working in the industry, I used to take power for granted. I never used to take into account what lengths they used to go through to keep the power on to people and whatnot. You know, you're driving along, you find yourself looking at the power lines and thinking, you know, what's going on up there, or that's good what they've done and things like that. So yeah, it has definitely changed my view since I've been in the field, and since I've been in the industry, I've found out that when it's really hot and when it's really windy and when it's really wet, that's when we have to go to work, and that's when we work the long hours and things like that to try and get people's power back on. Everyone needs electricity, so I think our job's important because people don't like being without power, and the quicker you get it back onto them, the less grumpy they get. So I find that our job's pretty important as far as life goes, yeah. We work with a wide variety of people. You know, we've got a few international people at our depot from other countries and stuff, so it's good to get to know them and learn their experiences. So I would suggest the school leavers to give it a go, definitely. The earlier you get into a traineeship or a trade, the better off you'll be in the long run. I passed year 12 and then I did a year of university. That wasn't for me. I decided I'd try the electrical field, and I ended up applying at ETSA. And it was a pretty long-winded process to get in, but once I was in, then that's how I came to be where I am today. Yeah, there's a fair bit more training you can do. I mean, you can go all the way up to working on 275,000 volts bare hand. It's just waiting for opportunities to become available so you can actually get it done and do it. Obviously, it's a nationwide certificate, but you can use your skills overseas. There's a couple of people that have gone from ETSA overseas to different countries. So yeah, it is an international job that you can take with you wherever you go. I'd like to progress through the scale if I can. Probably stay on the trucks for as long as I can at the moment. But yeah, I'd like to maybe later on get into management side of things and probably stay in the power line field. But yeah, move into a sort of a more manager's role if the opportunity becomes available. Dream job would have been to become a professional basketball player, but I couldn't do that. Didn't have the height. So yeah, this is, as far as jobs go, this is the best one I've had.
My name's Thomas Linke of ETSA Utilities, and I'm a systems electrician apprentice. Most interesting and exciting thing about my job is I get to travel away a lot. So at the moment, for 3 months, I've actually been working up in Port Augusta. Go 2 weeks on, 3 days off, and do what's called bush fortnights. Actually really good, interesting. You get to travel all around the state. One of my main challenges I've found has been TAFE, with the maths side of it, and also learning new skills out in the field. Where some of the skills we learn are very technical.
You can actually see the 3 phases. You've got red, white and blue on your plastic. You've also got red right here on your wire, white and blue. So they're 3 phases.
Usually on your line they're about 63 amps on a house. So say you've got a small unit and you've got a fridge and you've got, you know, a few lighting circuits and a few other things like that, you only need single phase. Whereas say if you had a massive 2-storey house that's you've got a swimming pool, you've got swimming pool heaters, you'd need a 3-phase system so you could spread it over the 3 phases. When I was in year 11, I was considering doing year 12, but in the paper they had a massive ad. It's the utilities taking on apprentices. So I decided to put in an application and I went through a few interview processes and got the job. So when I finished year 11, they accepted me as an ETSA Utilities apprentice. We use a lot of different technology and instruments because of what we deal with, because we deal with more high voltage than your 240 and your 415. The guys I work with are usually pretty good. They look after you, you know, they're tradies. They'll make sure you know what to do before you start doing it. You meet really interesting people with Customer Connect group. You go out to people's houses and you read their meters and that. You know, it's good you get a couple of old people and they'll invite you in for tea and coffee and stuff. My future career goals are to hopefully stick with ETSA and do some more study. Like I want to go back to TAFE and do what's called explosive connections. So that's what you deal with on oil rigs and stuff like that. I mean, I really enjoy doing my job. It's good to go home and you know you've actually achieved something for the day. And it's good, you know, you help stay online. I mean, nothing would go without power. My name's Tom and I love what I do.
I'm a 4th year data apprentice with Peervit in Adelaide. Follow me, I'll show you my site. I love my job because it's always changing. I'm always on different sites. Welcome to my office. I feel like I really achieved something at the end of the day. NT, North Terrace level of the Riverside building. So we're doing cabling on this floor. We've got catenaries all set to go, so we're just running some cables, some Cat 6A cables to the comms room. I'd been to university and was really struggling to find some purpose and, decide what I wanted to do with my life. And my dad's been a big inspiration. He's very hands-on, he's a jack of all trades. So I knew I wanted to learn a trade. And talking with him, my grandfather and my great-grandfather were in the telecommunications industry. So I looked into it and found Peer, and they took me on as an apprentice. Watch your step in here. Being female, I tend to feel like I have to prove myself on each site, but I think I do that, and by the end of the job I get along really well with the trades. I have faced one challenge, which was just a keen worker who didn't understand no, but other guys kind of helped out and kind of put him in his place, and within a day it was all fine, and he kind of understood from how they told him, not from my words. I'd say to any females looking to take up an apprenticeship, don't hold back. It's a really cool place to be, and the more females there are on site, obviously the guys are getting used to it, and it's not such a strange thing, so I definitely recommend a trade to any female that wants to give it a go. It's moving so quickly. There's just new equipment and new cabling. We're up to Cat 6A and Cat 7 cabling at the moment, and it's just exciting, forever changing, higher data speeds and faster transfer rates, and I just love it, love my job. I've just stripped the cable, cutting out the spacer. Cat 6A relies heavily on segregation from pairs, so with Cat 6A you have to maintain a twist rate for better performance of the cable, and we use a 110 tool for terminating. The company I'm with at the moment is based nationwide, so hopefully with them I might be able to get a bit of work around the place. We're heading to Western Australia, and apparently they're screaming for tradesmen out there, so hopefully it won't be too difficult to find work. It's a forever growing industry. We definitely need more apprentices and tradesmen out on sites, and it's a great place to work. It's really fulfilling, I find, and I definitely recommend it to everybody.
My name is Michael Hammer. I work for Electrotechnology, and my job title is Product and Service Support Technician. It's a cross between an engineering and a sales position. I got to my job today by a few years of study at university, along with a few years at TAFE studying electronics. Those two devices put together allowed me to apply for a position within a production role, and then I moved quickly through to a sales/technical support position. As a kid, I was always taking things apart and learning about electronics, and had a strong desire to go this way. So recommendations for school leavers would be to make sure that those are the things that really interest them. My day can vary, especially within the company. One day I might be working closely with an engineering member. The next day I might be in the warranty department speaking with our warranty officer about a product return or a warranty issue. Then again, it can also be very varied in that I'm speaking to an auto electrician or a tradesperson, so I'm really speaking to a lot of different people. But when I was in production, I did spend a bit of time with the various production testing rigs that we've got, which ultimately simulate real-world applications for use with our products, so we can basically certify our products and make sure they actually work. So I'd have to say yes, in a massive way. My views have changed about the industry. I've learned a lot, and obviously every day I go by and learning new experience that adds to my views, and now I'm forming my own opinions of the industry itself and how I'm fitting into it. If you go somewhere and receive poor service, you'll remember it, and you're most likely to never go back to that same place. So I guess my role itself is a critical part of the business. Ultimately, my role is important in the fact that if my job's not done well, the whole company will suffer as a whole. I'd have to say it's a very, very challenging role, and it's exciting. It's very different, very varying. It's very fast. A lot of multitasking is involved. It's very enjoyable. Have a great team to work with. I guess it's just a lot of fun. It's fun to get up in the morning and know that you're going to go to work and see a different problem, and I know just have a good time at work. goals would be to obviously get more education. I'd like to continue with Red Arc, perhaps in the same role that I am now, but maybe managing a group of people or a team of some sorts. But sticking with what I'm doing now seems to be pretty good for me.
Hi, I'm Luke Wood and I'm doing an electrical apprenticeship through APA. The interesting points of my job would be, one, there's a lot of variety in the work, like I get to go out to different places here and there. The challenges that I'm faced with working with APA would just be purely not knowing certain sort of things in the electrical field, which makes it hard to understand problems, but that's part of the learning curve, I guess. To overcome things I don't know, I guess you just practice and just more research would be the answer to that. I applied through a group training scheme, and that's how I sort of got the job out of APA. Like, went through those guys and they sort of sorted me out with the job. To school leavers, I would suggest, look around before you apply for a job and make sure you know the type of work you want to get into before you join it, because there is a lot of work you can do in this field, so make sure you understand a little bit prior to jumping in. I had sort of a keen interest in the electrical side of things during school, like the science and maths sides of things, so I sort of had an understanding what I was in for, so that sort of helped me get through it. Hopefully one day sort of head into the managing side of things would be, a good career option, but at the same time sort of learn as much as I can in the field. Out of work, I like to relax and catch up with mates and I play soccer, so I'll just sort of kick around a bit, I guess. So yeah, at work there's a couple of blokes in the fitting department which have been a real help to me in understanding not only the electrical side of things but the work scope itself, which I've found to be really good, because they're giving me an understanding of not only what my work is but their work as well. So yeah, I've found that to be a really good help. Well, we work with all sorts of sort of gadgets and gear like that. Like, you can get your ordinary test equipment that you use for testing voltage and other things like that, and big rammers and drills. So yeah, there's a variety of tools we use. When I was looking to get in an apprenticeship, I was not sure what I wanted to do in life itself. So it really has sort of cleared up a few things that I now know because I'm in the industry, which is good. Now that I've got doing an apprenticeship gives you a good base to start with, so opens a lot of doors for if you want to go further. Our job's sort of important purely just because without electronics and electrical work, a lot of things can't happen. So making sure everything's up to date and changing with technology itself is it's good to know. I'm currently doing extra study outside of my apprenticeship, so for my future goals I'm guessing to learn as much as I can and hopefully get into management or somewhere that'll take me to learning more things. I guess my future career goals are to eventually do a dual trade, because that's what I'm undertaking at the moment. I'm doing studies after work through night school through TAFE, which has been pretty good, and eventually just learn as much as I can in the field that I'm in, as well as get into managing. Well, that's the thing, with extra training you can get a lot more opportunities and more work, because at the end of the day, the more things you've learnt, the better you are at getting a job. Definitely with electrical work, there is a lot of different avenues you can go through. Definitely through the gas industry itself. Like, there's a lot to learn and there's a lot of different pathways you can take, which is good if you like some things but don't like other things. I think my job is challenging and it is interesting, so there's a lot of room to sort of grow and a lot of paths to take. I think I've been told through my trade school studies that the level that Australian apprenticeships get trained under it's around the world it is acknowledged to be a high level of training, so that's one thing I can take with me if I go overseas. Hi, my name's Luke and I love my job.
My name's Ryan Coates, I'm an electrician. I studied a 4-year course of Certificate 3 of Electrotechnology through PV, who's a group training organisation. I'm now employed with O'Donnell Griffin. I get excited when I wake up in the morning, so it's fantastic to be able to have that motivation. Electricity is a part of life. It's really fulfilling to know that I'm actually providing that service, or I'm able to provide a new service of electricity or maintain an existing or fix a particular aspect of their electrical installations. Being in the same company my whole apprenticeship's really been advantageous, and I've had the opportunity to work in a whole variety of different fields, from industrial, commercial, service, data. But the tradespeople through those industries, the knowledge and wealth that you pick up from on-job training has been great. There's no better way of learning but to reinforce your off-job training with your theory side to really putting that into practice, and then you learn the right ways and gain the experience from those tradesmen that you work with, so it's been great. Yeah, so we put it in test mode, then we walk around, make sure that they operate for 90 minutes, which is the regulation. Because in a fire situation where the power goes off, you need to be able to get down the stairs, etc., find your way out. So we test these, make sure that way we don't have to turn off any other circuits. We just walk around and make sure that they're doing what they need to do, and if they're not, obviously we need to replace them, so or service them, make them operational. There's strict OH&S policies. Ultimate dream job would be to work for myself, have other people earning the dollars for me. Somewhere in the C-bus automation side, where I can just come in and do the programming that I like, integration with the computers, and have the other people doing the labour side. Every day is a new challenge.
My name's Dan and I love my job. I found out about air conditioning and refrigeration when I was at school. One of my mate's dads was an air conditioning mechanic doing domestic work, and he seemed pretty well off, so I thought I'd give it a go. I got to where I am today by finishing my school. I did a full-time course at TAFE as a pre-vocational in Certificate 2 in Engineering, Electrotechnology. I then sought out some work experience with several different companies, and Sims Refrigeration offered me an apprenticeship. Yeah, the benefits of work experience are that they mix you around a bit and show you everything in the industry. You get to work with a few different people in a few different areas of the trade. Get a taste for it before you dive in. There's a lot of perks that come with the job. You get a work van, work phone, paid for uniform, paid holidays, paid sick leave. We undergo constant training to update our skills, keep up with the industry because it's ever changing. I work on fridges like the ones behind me, low temp freezers. Air conditioning and refrigeration is important because we keep food fresh, safe to eat. We also maintain comfort conditions in places like hospitals and aged care, where comfort is critical to the well-being of the patients and the elderly. Challenges in my job include fault finding, different refrigeration circuits, and having to find problems with all these different applications. This is one of the multimeters we use. Yeah, it's pretty good. Test for electrical current, making sure a circuit's safe to work on. Over here we can test for amps, ohms of resistance, voltage AC, voltage DC, test resistance, make it beeping. Can also test for current by going around a cable. Leak detectors are pretty interesting. This is one of the leak detectors we use. We can use this to sniff out a leak in a system so it can repair it, top the gas charge back up. The pump in here that sucks the air in to analyse it. Get in tight spaces with a little twisty neck. Doesn't take very long to learn how to use these things. Basically just turn it on and point it where you want to sniff. I can do more training as a refrigeration air conditioning mechanic. The pathways are great. Go up to managerial positions, engineering, sales, working for yourself. Usually set hours, can be on call depending on what area you're working in. If you're on service, you can be on the call-out roster. As an air conditioning and refrigeration apprentice, I found the wages not to be too bad. Well, I'm still living at home, so I managed all right. I'm sort of starting to get paid a bit more now, and it's pretty comfortable. So, outside of work, just a regular guy, hang out with my mates, girlfriend, go to the gym. My plans from here are to finish my apprenticeship first, assess my options after that. Ultimately, I love to work for myself, build up a bit of a client base, maybe do a little bit of work on the weekends, try and get enough clients that I go out on my own. Other school leavers that want to sort of get to where I am, probably do a pre-vocational course, seek out some work experience and really try and impress an employer. There are group organisations such as Peer that you can sign up at, and they will look for an apprenticeship for you. My dream job, I would love to work on a cruise liner, looking after the refrigeration and air conditioning plant. At the end of the day, you can go home knowing you've done a hard day's work, feelings of satisfaction and accomplishment.